Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. And this week we got more burgers. I went back to that burger place a couple more times. Yeah, a couple cool things happened since we last talked. So I told you the first last week, I was extremely excited about that white burger. All of the elements played together perfectly. Sauteed mushrooms, the four cheeses, all that kind of stuff. And so I got their other flagship burger of Umiiro, the Akai, the red burger. And every time I've gone to this place, when I'm walking there down the street, I'm like, oh, which one do I get? Which burger? This one or this one or this one? And I landed on the two flagship ones because, they looked great and amazing and all that kind of stuff. And I got it. And everything was beautiful and perfect again. Wooden tray and the black tile, beautiful plate, and the red burger. And it was good. It's a tomato sauce with basil in it and cheese on the perfect patty again. And they have a little metal skewer in the middle, which I take out and place down very neatly, a ceramic tile. And I was just as happy the second time as I was the first. I think I liked the white burger better just because the sauteed mushrooms were so friggin' good and the cheese was so unique. But this red burger was no slouch at all, and What was the red burger? There's a bed of salad of fresh chopped basil and lettuce under the burger patty too, and the red tomato sauce is so good on a burger. The patty was perfect again. The bread was perfect again. The fries were perfect again. It was all great. And the fries tasted good. They give you a ton of sauce on these flagship burgers. And so you can dip the French fries in the excess sauce from the burger. Great. Great time. And I got an Asahi this time because I thought with the tomato, the dryness of the Asahi would be better than the fruity Saison, but I think the Saison probably still would have been. Oh, no, wait. I did get the Saison because I thought that exact thing. I was like, no, if you're going to have the fruity tomato flavor, then the fruity Saison will go well with that because it's a different fruitiness and there's still the bitterness of the beer, obviously. So I did get the Saison again and it was great. And I just gazed dreamily out of the window at the ocean after my meal. And I was so happy. Yeah, I walked around, looked at some cherry blossoms some more, and I actually walked around for a couple hours and then walked back to the burger store and got the chicken nuggets, which I was surprised to see on the menu, and French fries and an Asahi. That's when I got the Asahi. And I was thinking well, you walked around for a couple hours. It's okay. This will be a good snack. But by the end of it, I was so full. And the chicken nuggets were just chicken nuggets. They did taste like real chicken. They didn't taste like paste, crappy, gross chicken nuggets. But I didn't need that extra snack. Although they tasted great, and the beer and looking at the ocean more was really fun. So I have been there 4 times now. Because after white burger and then the red burger, which is also delicious, and then I went back for snack time after strolling through the cherry blossoms. I wanted to try, there's one more burger I really wanted to try called the demi-tama, which is, Google translates it as a demi-glaze sauce burger. I'm not sure if that's what it was, but it tasted amazing. So there is a burger patty, some kind of white sauce, lettuce, tomato, 2 onion rings on top maybe that's the demi-glaze. I think there was another sauce on top right under the onion rings, but I ate it so quickly I can't even remember. Oh, and a fried egg, of course. And so I got a Saison with it, of course, and potato fries. And when they brought it out, though, my mind had to do a reset. It was like, oh no, what's this? Because I didn't get the big black fancy plate, clay tablet plate that I like so much, signed as Umiiro with the little logo in the corner. This was just a regular white and red ceramic plate. And I was like, oh, it's all right. And then 2 other people came in and got burgers, and they got the black ceramic tile plates. And I was like, hey, what's going on here? I want that plate. And I didn't figure it out, but I will tell you why later. Because I didn't figure out, but somebody told me later on. After the restaurant, the Demitama burger itself was still great and it looked even better than the picture. Because the picture only has 1 onion ring, and this one had 2. It was towering. And luckily, I'm still bringing my tebukuro, my gloves with me everywhere. So I smashed down the burger and then devoured it. It was very good. That was a tasty burger. I like that they're all so different too. The white, the red, and the Demitama taste nothing like each other, but they're all great in their own way. There's an avocado chicken burger. I don't like chicken burgers very much, but I bet theirs is really good. But I don't have a lot of time left, so the next time I go, I think I'm going to try the weekday special they have, because it looked different than the other burgers, but I don't know. And it comes with a salad. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm so excited. So despite my crappy plate, my boring plate, I'll say, it was a nice plate, but it was just not as nice as these beautiful black clay tablet plates that I had twice and then the other guys had. That was the only black mark on the meal. The meal itself was excellent, and I finished my saison lazily and happily and dreamily gazed out at the ocean again. And it was just a great time. It was I love going to this burger restaurant. I like how clean everything is. I like how comfortable it is. I like that they give you the hand towels before you eat. And I like that, each burger is unique, but still tastes absolutely amazing. It tastes so good. Okay, so then it was raining all day that day, and I like the rain. I like walking around in the rain. So I gathered up my umbrella and made my way out after paying. Oh, in case you're in Japan and you don't know this, which I totally forgot, even though I've been here so many times, they give you the receipt for what you bought with the meal or like in the middle of your meal. And then when you're finished, you take the receipt to the front counter, and either there's a scanner so you can scan the receipt yourself, or you hand it to the person behind and then they scan the receipt. So they don't have you like digitally. They know where you are and they can access your information if you lose the receipt somehow between your seat and the front desk. But generally you bring your receipt up and scan it yourself, or they scan it for you. And then that's the amount that you pay. I got a BLT to go because I thought BLT meant bacon, lettuce, tomato, but it actually meant burger, lettuce, tomato on white bread. Like, not good white bread. It was better. It was fine if I liked white bread at all, but especially around a burger patty, it was bizarre. And it didn't taste good, and I didn't even finish eating it after a couple bites. As soon as I got the BLT to go because I thought it was a little bacon sandwich and it'd be easy to eat, but it was this big chunky burger sandwich, and I took a bite and I was like, I'm not gonna be into this too much. And I threw it in my bag and I strolled on down the street in the rain, just looking at the ocean and having a great time. And I was walking and I saw this sign that, of course, I didn't understand because it's all in Japanese. But then right when I was passing by, at the end of the driveway, there was a small little plaque that said, Kawara Gallery, feel free to just look around, in English. And I was like, feel free to just look around. And I looked in and you could see there were big windows on the building, and I could see inside there were stuff. There looked like there was ceramic stuff in there. So, and it says gallery in English. So I walked over and I saw a woman glance out the window at me, and I shook off my umbrella and went in, and she got up to say hello, and she was seated at this big table where she made everything. And this turned into a pretty amazing experience. She wanted to practice English, and hers wasn't great, but after we tried speaking in Japanese, it was clear that my Japanese was way worse. So we just talked mostly in English after that. And she loved practicing English, and so she was really interested in showing me around the gallery all of her things, and there was way more to see than I saw, because it's a tile museum is how it's listed on like Google and stuff. But it's not just tiles, it's statues and figurines and all of these different stuff that she makes, sake cups. So she started just pointing out things, and we translated on Google Translate when she didn't know the English and I didn't know the Japanese, but mostly we talked and we just traded a few life stories. And then she showed me things, and I forgot the names of so many things, but I remembered a few of them. There was haniwa, which is something you put on top of a grave, and dogu, which is similar, an older version of the haniwa, and then Ojizo. And he's like this old grandpa guardian spirit. And she makes little 1 to 2 centimeter figurines of these different little burial accompaniments or spirit guardians out of clay, and firing them at different temperatures and lengths of time makes them red or black. It's the same type of clay, but it was very impressive, and it's all handmade. She made everything in there, and she gave me the packet to read, and it's like a 1,200-year-old tile tradition. This same lady comes from a line of like 1,200 years of making tiles, apparently, according to the pamphlet she gave me. Or honestly, it might have been 700 years. I have the pamphlet in another room, but it was a very long time. It was hundreds of years. And she's still sitting at this big table with clay, sculpting and rolling and making a bunch of things, and then each one looks different because she's hand making all of them. So if it's an onigawara, a demon guardian face to keep bad spirits away, the face looks similar, but the the lines are thicker or thinner on certain ones, or longer or shorter. Sometimes the facial expression has changed. Sometimes the eyes are pointing in different directions. One has a mustache, one's lips might be larger, or its mouth is bigger, because everything is handmade. And it's not like there's one way that the haniwa or the tanuki she didn't have tanuki actually, the haniwa or the ojizo or anything has to look. She's just representing these things, and they were so cool. They were all so cool. There's definitely going to be some pictures in the Lemmy community. I don't think I've put any up yet of these clay figures yet, but I really should, because they look very cool, and I love that it's all handmade and it's a family tradition. And she was so excited about showing all these things. We had a really fun time talking with each other and looking at all the different creations. And we were both learning, because she was learning a bunch of English words, and I was learning a bunch of Japanese words and folklore and tradition. It turned into a full like guided tour of the gallery. I was just going to walk in, pop my head, and see what looked like whatever it was, just see what was going on. But as so often happens as a traveler, I just had a feeling when I saw that little sign saying, feel free to look around. I was like, I bet this is going to be one of those cool mini adventures that you can get from just walking around. And that's exactly what this turned into. So after the haniwa, she showed me the cats I always forget the name of. And I didn't know this, but if the right arm is up, you know the cats with the golden coin that shops place on their counter, and it means like, give me money, good luck money cat. There's actually 2 versions of that cat. If the right hand on that cat is up, it means give me money. And if the left hand of the cat is up, it means give me happiness. So it's just like, be happy rather than money. I didn't know there were 2 versions of it. But yeah, after she said that, I saw some of the cats were right-handed, some of the cats were left-handed. And whether you're looking for money or looking for happiness, which is really interesting. And she explained so much to me. There was so much to look at. And I saw a few that didn't look great. And I was like, oh, what are those ones? She said, oh, those are kids. Like, kids make these. So I guess she has like workshops with the kids who come in to make clay. And there was like a jet fighter and haniwa, and a bunch of stuff. And then I noticed 3 of them that looked pretty good. I was like, oh, that one's pretty nice. She was like, no, those are mine. All the crappy ones are the children's. And I kept looking around. Now I wanted to see everything in the shop because I liked Dogu a lot. Dogu is like one of the oldest depictions, she said. It's very ancient guardian forest spirit kind of thing. And and they were so tiny. They were all like so many of them were 2-3 centimeters maybe. So there were so many pieces to look at. And I just kept following along the wall. And I thought she would keep working and I would look around by myself. But I think because she wanted to practice her English so much, she was really interested in explaining everything to me. Also, just when you're a traveler, people love explaining their cultures to you. So, and it was nice talking to her. And I told her about the waterfall I've been to nearby here that had such clear, moldable clay, fine-grained clay. And she was really interested because she lives near town Kikuma, and the waterfall is like behind that town, but she's never been to that waterfall, so she didn't know about all this clay. So I kind of want to go back there before I leave and try and get some of the clay and bring it to her. Because she was really interested. She orders her clay from a special island where the best clay is. But this clay that I found at this waterfall one day, several weeks ago, is really dense, extremely fine-grained, very easy to manipulate and move around. And I wonder if she'd be interested in it. Next was a shelf, and I was looking at it, and I was like, these look familiar. And then I saw Totoro. And I was like, Totoro! I know Totoro, he's the best. And she was like, yes, I love Totoro. And it was just like a little 3 centimeter high Totoro holding a flower. And there's a name for the flower that you put into these things because they go together so well. So Totoro is holding like an origami flower. And there's some special name in that I can't remember. Hanashima something? I don't know. But then I looked over to the right, and there was these 2 bipedal bird creature things. And I was like, wait, why is that familiar? And she's like, do you know Kimetsu no Yaiba? Kimetsu no Yaiba is this anime demon slayer in English. And I do because my friend's daughter was really interested in it and dressed up as one of the characters for Halloween. So I later saw in a movie theater, like some cinema debut of Infinity Train for Kimetsu no Yaiba. And as soon as she said that, Kimetsu no Yaiba, I was like, oh, those are the 2 main characters. That's the sister and the brother. What are their names? Nezuko is the sister, and the brother is Tanjiro, I think. But instead of the characters exactly, they were represented as these interesting things called hang on, I wrote it down. Amabie. So there were Amabie. Really? Amabie? Yeah, I just looked it up. Amabie is this bird-like, penguin-y sort of health guardian. He promotes good health. And I was like, oh, thank you, good health, Amabie, and I bowed to them. And they were really cool because they looked like this big, they looked like stocky bird guardians, forest spirits, but Tanjiro's one had his wild hair that he has, and then Nezuko's had that thing she bites because she's a demon in the show, so she's like a bit in her mouth a lot of the time. And so she had made the Amabie these health deities, but in the aesthetic style of the 2 main characters of this anime she likes, Kimetsu no Yaiba, which I thought was awesome. And they're so detailed because she's doing all the work with a little wooden thing. Maybe that's what I want to do. Maybe I want to make little clay stuffs. That would be fun. Dang, I should have thought of that. I've had this freaking house. I could have fired. Oh my gosh, maybe. Nah, I probably don't have time to do it. I only have a couple days left here. But anyway, the fact she did, now it's in my mind. So if I find another clay, which I found one every 30 years, if I find another clay riverbank and I have a house that's as well apportioned, well appointed as this one, I'll try my hand at firing some stuff up. Oh no, you need a kiln. You need super high heat, right? I don't know if my oven would get that hot. Anyway, so she's explaining the Kimetsu no Yaiba, and that was really cool. And I said a little prayer, said thanks. That was the prayer, thanks, and bowing to the demon slayer Amabie. So cool. Like, I just kept getting more and more interested in everything. And there were a few other anime characters. Oh, she really likes Hayao Miyazaki. And so I was like, I love Mononoke Hime, and she loves Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. And there's this robot that looked familiar, but I couldn't place him exactly. And she recreated his head with the hole in it. It was really, and they were so cool. It's so cool and interesting how she's able to make all these pieces and how much she clearly cares about making these accurate representations with her little styles and details mixed in. So there was a bunch of anime characters on this shelf, and that's where they were all organized. And then we moved on, and she asked where I was or like how I found the gallery, and I told her I was just walking around. I just went to this really good burger restaurant that I like, Umiiro. And she was like, oh, Umiiro, it's very good. I make their plates. And I looked over where she was pointing, and there was the super classy black tile plate, not glazed, just fired, that I had eaten my white burger and the red burger off of. And I liked that plate so much. I thought it was so classy. And I was meeting the person who made those plates. I met her, and she told me about it. And this is the part that I said I would get to. She explained, she asked me what I had eaten there. And I said, well, the white burger, the red burger, and the demitama. But today with the demitama, I didn't have your plate, and I really like your tile plate. And she said, the tile plate is only for the best dishes in the restaurant. So only the white burger and the red burger are allowed to be served on the black tile plate. All other burgers at that place, and there's like 8 other burgers, have to go on just a regular ceramic plate. And in my head, I was like, well, that sucks. Give me the good one. But I understand, because that is a thing. When she said that, I remembered in other Japanese restaurants, they do a similar thing. Depending on what you are ordering, it's presented in a different style, and usually the best items on the menu, or the most expensive items, the premium items, I should say, are presented a little bit differently, and so is the case with Umiiro. So that's why my third plate was crappy to me, compared to these tile plates anyway, because it wasn't the fanciest burger. The demitama's just one of the regular ones. I was really interested to find that out, and it was wild just to be. I said, thank you for making them. They're amazing. They're perfect. I love their wave, because it's not a flat tile. It's a wave. There's a wave in it. So one side of the tile goes up and the other side kind of slopes down, but it's not symmetrical either. It's a beautiful wave proportionally, and it's not too high. So the burgers on it perfectly. It works very well as a plate. It's just such a great tile plate. There are pictures of it on the Lemmy community if you're curious, in the travel community. I really, really liked that plate. That was probably my favorite part of the presentation, even though everything was very nice in that restaurant. And she was excited to tell me all about this and how she made the plates and what their purpose was. And it was meeting the creator. It was very cool. So after the plate, I looked at her other cool tile plate. She had a few other styles, but definitely the one for that's the one that caught my eye the most. It's beautiful. And if I was living there, I would certainly buy those plates for my house and probably break them. They're super heavy too. It's funny. Okay, after the tiles, we moved over to the next shelves, and there were a few different things. The ones that caught my eye were these Onigawara, the demon guardian I talked about earlier. They're faces, but they're looking up, and then she moved it, and it's actually a sake cup. So it's really interesting because the face is on the bottom of the cup, And it looks like it has all these ridges and it is three-dimensional, like its nose comes out and everything. But then the three legs of the cup itself are a fraction of a centimeter longer than the length of the Onigawara, the demon's nose, goes out. So even though the demon's face is on the bottom of the cup, when you turn it around, it's completely balanced because it has three equal legs that are literally a fraction of a centimeter, like maybe a tenth of a centimeter longer than the nose. So it's not rolling around on the Onigawara's face. It's right off. It's very, very cool to see, and I would definitely get some of those if I come back here to live again at any point. I'll have to look around for a local maker and get one of their sake cups and drink some sake in it, because they looked so cool and culturally correct. It just fits in with all other Japanese things that are so cool. Oh, you know what? Let me go back to those haniwa that I was talking about in the beginning. I noticed 3, and I was like, wait a minute, I know these. And I couldn't place them exactly until she said, oh, you know Shisa. And I was like, ah, yes, Shisa. They were in, and I was going to say something else, and she said, oh, they're in Okinawa. And I was like, yes, Okinawa. Do you know the anime Oishinbo? Which is this foodie anime from Japan back in the late 80s. And she was like, yes, it's a good show. And they have an episode in Oishinbo, and there's a part of the episode that's all about Shisa, specifically from Okinawa. And their eyes are way crazier because the whole point of the Okinawan Shisa, which are like these lion deities, sort of, Japanese lion deities, guardians, is to look alive. So their bodies are moving in shapes that normal Japanese sculptures, all these sculptures I've been talking about, they have like thick, stout bodies. They're very heavy, but like the Shisa ones will be bendy, like their spine will be bent as they're moving, and their eyes will be bigger. The pupils of their eyes will be bigger and looking around like kooky a little bit. So that was really cool to see the Shisa, and then to understand that she knew the anime I had watched while I was in Japan, while I've been here, and learned about the Shisa from. It's so cool when this kind of stuff happens. And it's all because I saw this random sign. Feel free to look around. It's good she put it out there, because now I had this amazing little adventure. But that was in the beginning. So we go around. After the sake cups, there was like some other stuff on the shelves. I can't remember around the sake cups because the sake cups were the coolest. Oh, there was a pencil holder she made out of like 100 tiny tiles. And after I saw that, we went to like the last area where there was a bunch of stuff I hadn't seen yet. And there was a hygrometer, like a humidity meter. And as the water goes up and down, depending on how humid the air is, which I thought was very interesting, it has like a substance thing. There's something in the bottom that gets fluffier, so the water goes up when it's more humid. And that was interesting because she must have that because she's a tile worker, because if it's too humid or less humid, different conditions, she has to work with the clay differently to make her figurines and tiles and plates and everything, sake cups. Oh, but on this so the last one was the dogu. And the dogu that I've mentioned a couple times is the older haniwa, so another old burial guardian and just general sort of half-deity guardian kind of old guy. He has big eyes they're closed and flat, pupils closed, and I connected with him the most. I liked he was very detailed, and I liked the expression on his face, which was serene, but not goofy, but not too serious. He just seemed like a little playful, but serene at the same time. And I got really interested, and I was looking at all of his, and she said, you can have a present. And I was like, did she just say I can have a present, like, of one of these things? And then we talked a little bit more, and then she picked up one. She was like, here, you can have this as a keepsake, a souvenir. she looked up the word on Google Translate, and I was like, whoa, thank you. But it was a tiny figurine, and anything that big, I'm like, it'll probably get crushed in my bag. Why don't I take this little one? It's a flat face. It's just his face, which is the part I like the most anyway. And it was smaller, and it was flat, and it was a brooch, she said, so you could put it on whatever. And I said, that's perfect. I'll sew it onto my rucksack, and he'll watch over my rucksack for me. Dogu. And so that's what I have, and I still have it in my pocket right now. And I will say, it is fired clay. It is brittle, so I don't expect it to last a very long time. But it looks very cool. I will certainly be putting that on the Lemmy community, the travel community on Lemmy. And yeah, I love it. It's a perfect little face, and it's a perfect little cap to this adventure. And they were all sold for like 1,000 yen or 1,200 yen. So $8 to $10. No, $8-ish. $6 to $8, yeah. But I didn't want to buy one because they looked so fragile. I was worried I'd break one, but I certainly will accept one as a gift, especially if I can choose one of the smaller, sturdier pieces. I feel like the figurines actually knocked over one of the red clay ones, and I was like, oh, but I didn't break it or anything. It was very tiny, so it just fell like half a centimeter, and I put it back on its feet. And then she gave me that, and then I chose this face one, and it's perfect. It's a great face, and I'm very happy to have him accompany for a little while. I will keep him around, and when he breaks, I will assume that he protected me from something, as is the Chinese tradition that I learned. And I noticed the super tiny tiger head, super tiny, 1 centimeter squared, but round, and it was a little tiger face, and it was next to the hygrometer, but not any, it didn't have its own place, and most of these things she arranged had their own place or were with groups of other ones. But there was just this one tiny lone tiger head, and I told her about it, and she was like, it just goes there, whatever. And I don't know why there were no other tigers, but I was like, no, it has to go here. And I put it on its own drink coaster that was also made from clay. So it looks like it has this grand stage all to its tiny tiger head self. And then her friend came over and gave her a little gift. And we started talking to her friend because her friend had just come back from Korea like 2 days ago. And I was like, oh, I'm going to Korea in a couple days. So very nice to meet you. And she only spoke Japanese, but it was fine. We had the shop owner to translate a little, and we were using Google Translate anyway when the shop owner didn't understand. And her friend recommended I eat crab when I get to South Korea because their seafood is excellent. And I might take her up on that recommendation. I hear South Korea has a lot more restaurants that accept credit cards. So, because I don't want to change and lose money. The thing is, if I can find a local currency exchange place, maybe I'll do that. But yeah, apparently a bunch of the places accept credit cards in Korea. So her friend was like, make sure to eat the crab. And then I was asking the shop owner, about the snacks that her friend brought in. And that's a word I know. So I was like, okashi, right? Okashi? She was like, well, no, not okashi. And turns out I don't know that word. It means snacks in all the dictionaries, but in Japanese usage, apparently, the shop owner tells him, it's mostly for like confectionaries, for sweeter things, for candies and confectionaries, okashi. If you have a savory thing like beef jerky or that kind of stuff, she at first said, just call it beef jerky, but then she said, ate. It's like biru ate, snacks that go well with drinking. And I was like, well, that's perfect, because I am going to go cap this very fun day with Dogu, he'll come with me, and have some atsui osake and gyoza. And she said, oh, no, not atsui sake, it's atsukan. Hot sake is atsukan. So if you just order atsui osake, it'll sound weird. But if you order atsukan, that's hot sake, which I didn't know. So I was very happy to learn. I learned a lot of terms and a lot of Japanese in that short time. It was cool. If I was in Japan longer, I am certain I would have a pretty comfortable grasp on the language. I'm certainly comfortable with the progress I've made the 5 or 6 weeks I've been here. When she gave me the little dogu face, I bent at the waist very low and said, "Arigato gozaimasu, domo arigato." And I was very sincere because it is a very nice gesture of her to give to the crazy traveler. And I said, "Thank you to her friend. I'll remember about the crab. I will eat crab in Busan." And then I took off the house slippers that she gave me when I walked in and put on my sneakers. Very, very damp sneakers. It's good she gave me the house slippers because my feet were totally wet. And I was like, oh no, these house slippers are going to be soaking when it's finished because my socks are wet. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to push through it. Sometimes, things aren't going to be perfect every time. And I wanted to go look at this gallery. And I had a great mini adventure with the ceramics maker. And it was fascinating. And I even got a little dogu face. And me and the shop owner and the friend all said thank you to each other 100 times and hajime mashite, it's nice to meet you. And then I walked away through the rain and eventually got to a little ramen house where I got some gyoza and some atsukan. And that's how I finished off my afternoon with a little carafe of sake, hot sake, and tasty gyoza. Man, it was great. That was a good day. Fascinating to learn so much. And she tried to give me a pamphlet before I left, and I was like, oh, it's okay. And she was like, no, take it. And I just said, oh, thank you so much. And I took it. And because she was like, take it. It has English on the back. And I realized I was like, those are for tourists who visit her shop. She must get so few people who speak English who go into her shop that when one does come by, like, this is what this is for. Take it. And that's where I learned how old the shop was, hundreds of years old, from that little pamphlet I read. That's what's been going on with me. What's been going on with you? Tell me at bitofarambler@gmail.com or Blue Sky or Lemmy. Bit of a Rambler, signing off. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.